I am Rabbi Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. Starting this Motzi Shabbos, this Saturday night, the Jewish people will be celebrating the holiday of Shavuot, the time of the receiving of the Torah. In this short Torah lesson that I'm going to be talking about tonight, my topic is Shavuot, a time to end the divisiveness and unite. The Torah, including what is commonly referred to as the Ten Commandments, has a total of 613 commandments. Jewish people are commanded that they are to observe all of these commandments. How is it possible that one person can observe 613 commandments when some of the commandments are specified to be performed only by certain individuals? A Kohen, the priest, a Levite, a man, a woman, somebody who's about to get married, getting divorced. Not all of this applies to everybody. So how then can we fulfill the commandment of observing all these mitzvos? And the way to do it is by recognizing that we as a Jewish people are a unit and should be a unit, and therefore when we are performing a mitzvah, we're performing it not only for ourselves, but for everybody else. When we are studying about a commandment, it's as if we performed it, even if we're not able to perform it because it doesn't apply to us. The basic ingredient to receive the Torah, which we do every year at this time anew on Shavuot, is the unity between a Jew and another Jew, and on a broader sense, this message can apply to the world, the unity that is necessary. Unfortunately, we are living in a time of great divisiveness. The question is, does this anger and divisiveness that we have when you disagree with somebody's opinion, and you therefore turn them out of your life, you cancel them in the use of the modern language, families that sit together at a celebratory event can't talk to one another because of their differing viewpoints. What does this do to our ability to receive the Torah? So to put this in context, let's look at a couple of things. First of all, in the Talmud, the great body of law, the Jewish law that discusses the Torah, there are many, many disputes between the school of Shammai, Beit Shammai, and the school of Hillel, Beit Hillel, on many different topics. But even though they were diametrically opposed on many topics and on many rulings, it is interesting to show that the Talmud in Gemara and the Masechet Yevamos points out that nonetheless, despite the fact of their differences of opinion, constantly they practiced affection and love towards each other to fulfill what it says in the prophet Zechariah, Ha'emes v'hashalom ehavu. You should love truth and peace. What does loving truth and peace and not being divided have to do with receiving the Torah? If we look at the language leading to the receiving of the Torah, we find several different instances that indicate what we have to do to receive the Torah. First of all, when the Jewish people came to Sinai and were about to receive the Torah says, "Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged Ahor." The children of Israel camped next to the mountain. The word Vayichan in Hebrew, camped, is singular. We had millions of people who were there, yet it refers to singular. And Rashi and the other commentators point out that when they were camped there, they were unified, they were united, they were like one person and one heart. Further, it says, Vayanu kolom yachtav. And all the people said together, as one unit, Kol asher dibra Hashem nasa. All that God will tell us, we will do, without even knowing what it was. And then finally, when we look at the Aseret HaDibrot, the first of the 10 Commandments is Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher Otzaisichem Eretz Mitzrayim. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. That is singular. Elokecha, your God. And that teaches us that the way to receive the Torah is to be unified as one, to not let divisiveness keep us from reaching the goal of receiving the Torah, the great Torah. It also teaches us the fact that it's said as on an individual basis, Hashem Elokecha, your God, that each one of us have the obligation to consider somebody else when we're doing a mitzvah. We're doing a commandment, we're doing something good, do it for the sake of somebody else. Rabbi Akiva, the great sage, says, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah. The commandment of loving your neighbor as yourself is an underlying principle of the entire Torah. What he means by that is every single commandment is included in that generality. The Ethics of the Fathers have a statement that says, Ezeu Osher, who is rich? Hasomeach b'chelko, which normally is interpreted as somebody who's satisfied with his lot in life. But the word b'chelko can refer to somebody else's life. And the person who is really rich is somebody who is satisfied and happy with somebody else's lot in life. Instead of being jealous when you see somebody getting something that you think you would like yourself, be happy. Be thankful that that person has it. Be satisfied with that person. The concept of love is illustrated by a Hasidic story that is told in the name of Rav Moshe Leib of Sasso. He was once, he learned the meaning of Ahavas Yisrael, of love of every Jew, from a situation that he heard when he was passing by a bar, by a tavern. And he heard a conversation, obviously, between two drunk people. And one said, Ivan, I'm your best friend. I love you so much. And the other one says, Stefan, you don't love me at all. You don't truly love me. What are you saying? Ivan, I love you so much. So he replies, his drunken friend replies, if you really love me, tell me where I hurt and tell me what I'm lacking. And Rav Moshe Leib said, you cannot claim to love another person until you can feel his pain and know what he is lacking. This love of a human being leads us to love of God. The Baal Shem Tov was once asked, how can you love God? God is not corporeal. You can't really see him. You can only see what he's done in this world. He says you can come to love God by loving your fellow man. And that is the way that we need to receive the Torah. We have to unite as one, not only as a Jewish people, but as the world. Let's learn to live and understand that, as we did in the days of the Talmud, differing opinions should not cause anger and division. I wish everybody a wonderful Chag Sameach, a Shabbat Shalom, and wish everybody the ability to truly unite with one another, and let's make this world a better place. Thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.